All right, guys. So I'm going to go over the picks that I have made for Week 5. Also, after I'm going to unveil my power rankings. My power rankings are probably a little different than everyone else's. Mine are exactly like what happened through the first 5 weeks. Not really taking into account reputations such as the Steelers, etc. The Steelers on my rankings are definitely going to be lower than the Steelers on everyone else's rankings. But let's go ahead and jump into predictions. Let's go ahead and bring up Mini Flop. There he is. And the Thursday night game tomorrow, Pats versus Colts. I don't think anyone's surprised by this. I don't see the Colts being able to string together enough plays to hang with the Patriots. I guess the good thing that the Colts do have going for them is that Bill Belichick is kind of a master of like taking away your best weapon. But who's the Colts' best weapon? T.Y. Hilton's out. I don't know. You tell me. I guess with him out, you look at Eric Ebron. I think. I mean, that's the only guy I can really think of. So they'll scheme to try to take him out, but I mean, that might work to the Colts' benefit. They might not know what hit him, but I really don't think it's going to be that close. I think the Patriots going to win by at least a touchdown. So, and then we'll go right to my game. It's the next 1 o'clock game that's on the that's the 1 o'clock game on the slate. It's the Titans at the Bills. I'm gonna go ahead and pick the Titans. I did say before that I think this might be a little bit of a trap game, which I still think that luckily the media not giving the Titans the attention they think they deserve, and rightfully deserve, that it's going to keep them hungry. I think they're going to go out and they're going to win. I think it's going to be inside of a touchdown though. The Titans, for some reason, we play to the opponent. So I think we'll win, but I think it's going to be within a touchdown. So the next game I have picked is between the Bengals and the Dolphins. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pick the Bengals. I think that the Bengals have shown themselves to be quite the complete team right now. I think the Dolphins have benefited from weak schedule as well as some decent play. I mean, Ryan Tannehill looked great in the first 3 games, and then he threw for 100 yards. I don't have really any room to talk, considering the Titans quarterback situation's kind of been in flux with Mariota not healthy. Now that he is healthy, I think it'll be a little different, but I think that the Bengals are going to win, and I think it'll be over 10 points. So the next game that I have is between the Ravens and the Browns. I don't think it's any surprise. I'll take the Ravens. The Ravens, I think, are one of the better teams in the NFL. I think they're a sneaky pick to go to the AFC Championship game. Joe Flacco has got 5 new receivers, and he seems to be loving every one of them. So the next game that is on the slate is the I have the Packers and Lions, and I'm not really gonna spend a lot of time on this. I mean, the Lions are underperforming drastically, and the Packers are. I think the Packers are going to get this thing right, the ship righted, and they're really going to come after it and do the right thing and blow the Lions out. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to go in there and kind of show he wasn't happy with how the offense played against the Bills, so I think he's going to come back and they're going to really score well. So then we have the Chiefs and the Jaguars. This will be the second game that I'll really have my eye on outside of the Titans game. I think this is a coin flip, but because the Chiefs are at home, I'm going to give it to the Chiefs. I do think that if it was in Jacksonville, I'd probably give it to Jacksonville. I think they're two good teams. It's the best offense versus the best defense. I mean, I'm a basketball player, so I was always told that the best defensive team will always beat the best offensive team, but that's not really how it works in today's NBA anyway. So we'll keep moving forward on this. Next is the Broncos and the Jets, and again, I don't think there's really any surprise with this. It's the Broncos. The Jets, I don't think are a good team. I don't like Sam Darnold. Very inconsistent play. I say I don't like him. I just don't think he's as good as people made him out to be in the first few weeks. I really think that he needs to develop a little better, and the Broncos defense is just not a good defense to go against as a rookie. I mean, Mahomes just barely squeaked by there. So the next game is the Chargers and the Raiders. I think that the Raiders are lucky to get their win. I think the Chargers are going to destroy them. I think that this little hiccup they had with the 49ers, I think that the Chargers are going to go out there and right the ship. I don't know when Joey Bosa plans to make his debut, but hopefully soon. So next we have the Vikings and the Eagles. And I'm going to give this to the Vikings. I think the Vikings have played better as a team. Granted, they've lost that weird one in Buffalo, but I think that the Vikings have a better overall defense, and I actually think their offense is better as of this point. Maybe Carson Wentz goes out there and tears it up, but I personally think the Vikings are going to take this game. Next game is, I believe, the Falcons at the Steelers. I just think the Steelers just can't get out of their own way. I think they're really having a tough time. I think the Falcons are going to take this. The Falcons have been in every game. They just have their defense is not yet to step up. I expect this to be a very high-scoring game, almost 50 points for each team. It's going to be there, you know. So, also go to the Giants and at the Panthers. I think the Panthers are really going to take this game. I don't think it's going to be close either. The Giants have been traditionally disappointed with. I mean, they couldn't put up points against the Saints' awful defense. They're not going to go into Carolina and steal this game. I'd be very surprised if they did. So the next game I have is the Cardinals and the 49ers. I am going to say the Cardinals get their first win. I think that the CJ Beathard flash in the pan's over. I think the Cardinals are going to take this game. They better take this game. This is one of the few winnable games they have left on their schedule, and it's really saying something considering it's only week 5. So then we have the Rams and the Seahawks. I personally, well, I guess that one's just going to cover Flop's face. There it goes. I personally think that the Seahawks is, they're trying to figure things out. I think they're one of the better teams in the NFC West, but that's not saying much. I personally think the Rams are the most complete team in the NFL. I don't think they're going to have much trouble rolling over their NFC West counterparts. And then we have the Sunday night game, Cowboys versus the Texans. I got the Cowboys all the way. I don't think the Texans are that great. I don't think the Cowboys are that great, but I do think that the Cowboys are a little bit more complete than the Texans. I fully expect. I think they're better coached. I know O'Brien's had a little bit of heat on him. I mean, he's kind of lucky that Reich went for it. I think his seat might be the hottest of all the coaches, and I don't think it's going to get any better. And then we have the Monday night game, Redskins at the Saints, and I'm going to go ahead and take the Saints. And of course, I don't know what that's all about. Well, either or. Mini Flop can just wear that one on his face. There it goes. I think that the Saints are going to take this game. I haven't really watched too much of the Redskins. I wouldn't be surprised if the Redskins come out and shock them, but I just not going to go against Drew Brees at home in the Dome. So those are the picks I have for Week 5. Last week I was 10-5. We'll see how this week turns out. Let me go ahead and bring up, this is my power rankings. So first, I've said this time and time again, I think that the Rams are the most complete team. I think that the Chiefs, they've as far dominated them best, but I really think they have some concerns on defense. So a lot of people, I think, have the Ravens ranked higher than the Bengals, but one of my, pet peeves that annoys me when I look at power rankings is the fact that they have a head-to-head. And if they're that close, I cannot rank the Ravens ahead of the Bengals because the Bengals beat them already. So, the Bengals, Ravens, Chicago's the big surprise there. Their defense is really what makes me rank them so high. The Saints, big question mark, is the defense, but they're kind of the opposite of the Bears. They're the anti-Bears. They have really great offense, not so great defense. Bears, really great defense. Their offense seems to be turning things around. That's why I have them ranked higher. The Panthers, they'd probably be ranked higher if they played last week, but it's kind of hard to really place them in the puzzle since I didn't have previously power rankings, etc. So, and again, here we go with the next thing. I've got the Dolphins, Titans, and Jaguars. So the Dolphins beat the Titans beat the Jaguars. I mean, all of these teams, I think everyone wants to say they always want to point to the inconsistent quarterback play for the Titans. And I've heard a little bit from the Dolphins that they're trying to do the same thing. But, I mean, Blake Bortles is the definition of an inconsistent quarterback. I get it. He doesn't have the turnovers, whatever, but he's still the definition of a guy that's going to go out there and throw a bunch. A guy that's going to throw a lot of times for little yards, and sometimes he goes and he throws for 400 yards. So, I mean, that's kind of how I see it. Like I have head-to-heads that kind of back this up. I mean, the Titans lost to the Dolphins. The Titans beat the Jaguars. The Jaguars have beaten the Giants, the Patriots, and the Jets. Teams that, I mean, the outside of the Patriots, teams that aren't that great. So we'll see. This next week is when we're going to see what they're made of. They got the Chiefs. I got the Redskins. They're at 2-1. They're leading the NFC East. They look good from what I saw. I don't like their loss against the Colts. I figured they should have beaten them. But, you know, they're at 11. The Patriots, I have them at 12. I fully expect them to get back to their ways. They dismantled the Dolphins, but, you know, they've also suffered losses to the Lions. So I kind of got them just there. They're ready to be poised. I have them and the Green Bay Packers, Chargers. Those are all three teams that I would not be surprised to go on 3 to 4 game winning streaks. I don't think it would be that out of the question. So the Broncos, Eagles, Cowboys, Bucks, they're all teams that are 2-2 that I don't know really what direction they're headed in. I watched a lot of the Denver game. I think I like the Broncos the best out of those 4. I mean, the Eagles, they could easily turn around. I think that the Cowboys are going to, I mean, I have them winning this next week, but I wouldn't be surprised to see them drop 2 or 3 games in a row. I also said I think that the Bucks, the best thing that could have happened to them, they got smoked. So then they can continue to build on their future with Jameis Winston. I mean, not to be rude, there is no future with Ryan Fitzpatrick. I don't think anyone really had them going to the Super Bowl this year. So what are you going to do? So then from then on, the Vikings, Seahawks, Falcons, Browns. I mean, I think that these are teams. The Vikings are the only team I really see that are going to be able to launch themselves out of this group down here. The Seahawks, Falcons. I mean, the Falcons just have disappointed me so many times. I feel like they deserve to be punished. I have the Browns at 22. They have the tie with the Steelers. I really like their defense. I know it's the refs, whatever. They lost the game in typical Brown fashion. They should have won last week, but here they are at 22. The Steelers I have right there because they have just not played well. I mean, they haven't scored a point in the second quarter for the last 2 weeks. And yes, one of those was a win, but they still whatever. So then I have the Texans and Colts. Again, those are 2 teams that I don't foresee them getting much past where they are right now, but the Texans have the head-to-head win over the Colts. So, and the next you have the Lions, Giants, Jets, Bills, San Fran, Raiders, and Cardinals. I don't think anyone has really that big of a problem with those guys kind of being the bottom feeders as of right now. As far as if I had to pick a team that could kind of get out of that, I would probably say the Raiders, but I just think that the Raiders have been overhyped. The talent that they once had has kind of gone away. They lost one of their best offensive linemen. They can't find a pass rusher. It's just been kind of an overall disaster for Gruden as a whole. So, all right, let's go ahead and take those down. I'd like to really appreciate anyone that, watches these. And like I said, please hit the subscribe button, drop a follow, like the page. So I can keep these videos coming, and I appreciate you watching and look forward to watching Week 5 football.